It was 2 in the morning when I finally got into bed. I was like, all right, I only have one hasty bake. I've got to make this work tomorrow somehow. So I set my alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, I guess I can run on 2 hours of sleep. Honestly, folks, that whole day, I'm just really kind of tired and just kind of having fun doing what I love to do. Wasn't really expecting anything. I didn't get to taste my chicken. We got it turned in on time. A little bit later, we head on out to the awards. And you know, when you're at a cook-off, you're kind of watching who else is walking, who's getting the calls. I knew I was in the hunt if I got a brisket call. They start calling brisket 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We got a 4th place brisket call. I'm like, holy cow, man. I think I might just be in the running here. Hey, what's up, Pitmasters? Arnie Tex here. Today we're making this little short video to answer the question, can you cook on One Hasty-Bake Legacy and actually win a cook-off? First weekend of September in 2017, I went to Lubbock, Texas to do a competition barbecue class. We had about 8 or 9 people in there, good little class, everybody had a good time, everything was great. About a week and a half later, I get a phone call from one of the alumni, one of the cooks that had been at our class, asking me what I would charge him to give him a private class. And I'm like, well, you just took the class. He's like, yeah, but you know, you kind of go fast during your class and I can't write and keep up with the notes. And so I just want to make sure I got it all together. In those days, I was doing one free refresher class. We'll call it a refresher class. So I said, dude, you have a free refresher class? I mean, matter of fact, I'm doing a class this weekend. And he's like, well, I'm cooking a competition that weekend. I tell you what, he said, I'll make you a deal. If you'll drive up here, I have everything. I just want to make sure I got all my notes right. And I said, well, I tell you what, maybe if you cover some of my expenses to drive all the way over there, and we'll just walk you through the whole thing at an actual cook-off. We talked a little bit more. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So Terry and I loaded up our trailer and headed on out. I had stopped and bought some extra meat and stuff along the way just to cook on Saturday to munch on. When I bought all that meat, I think I was somewhere on the other side of San Antonio at an H-E-B, and I opened the ice chest to put the meat in there. I realized I saw, oh, I have an extra chicken and a rib. I should stick those in the freezer. I'll wait till I get to the cook-off. So we got up to Levelland that night, got set up on Friday night, and got situated. We started doing all the prep work and, you know, injecting the meats and seasoning. And about 10 o'clock, we're all done, drinking a couple of cold beers, just kind of chit-chatting. The head judge comes over and says, hey, Arnie, would you like to cook the cook-off tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, man, I'd love to cook, but first of all, I didn't come prepared. Second of all, I'm in this trailer with this gentleman here who paid me to be here to give a private class to him. So I'm sorry, I can't do it. And my student looks at me and he says, you want to cook it? And I said, well, you're paying me to be here. I'm supposed to walk you through all this stuff tomorrow too. And he said, you know, I've been cooking for quite a while. I know how to cook. I just wasn't real sure on the ratios and the injections and stuff. So I just wasn't sure, but tomorrow's cook should be fine. He goes, we got all the injections and rubs correct, so let's cook tomorrow. He goes, I'm gonna try to beat you. What about my meats? I said, I'm in a little bitty town out in West Texas. Don't even know where the dang grocery store is. I knew I had a chicken, I knew I had a ribs. I said, I need to go see if there's a grocery store open where I can find a brisket in the middle of the night. I'd probably be 11 before I get there. And the reason the head judge was asking me to cook this cook-off, it was being promoted as a first annual state championship. Now, in order for an event first year to be a state championship, which it was the first year, it has to have a minimum of 25 teams. They were sitting at 24 teams. So that was the reason the head judge had asked me if I wanted to cook, and that way it would become a state championship and a qualifier for the Jack Daniel's World Championship. I was like, friend, are you sure? Because I don't want nobody talking a bunch of BS and saying this and that and the other. Once I leave this trailer here tonight, I'm going into my trailer to prep. I'm not gonna come over here and visit with you tomorrow because I don't want anybody to say anything if you win or if I walk a couple of times or if we both do good. I don't want anybody to say nothing. He's like, I got this cooked. He goes, I just wasn't sure on all the prep work. He goes, go ahead and do your thing. We'll make it a state championship. Let's just both cook our hearts out tomorrow. I said, all right, cool, let's do it. So I set my alarm, got up, seasoned the brisket, went out and lit the fire, put my brisket in there. I want to say it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, more or less. So I set it aside, was smoking it, got my ribs out of the ice chest, let them sit on the table for a little while. Kind of finished all my little prep work on those and seasoned them up a little bit more and got them ready to go. 2.5, maybe 3 hours into the cook, the Hasty-Bake wasn't smoking as much. I don't like a lot of smoke on my ribs. I waited till the smoke kind of mellowed out a little bit. I got my ribs on and rotated my brisket, let them go, man. So now I'm pulling my chicken out of the ice chest, getting those on my table, prepping them, finishing the little final details on it, put a little more rub on it. Like normal, I wrapped my ribs, I wrapped my brisket before I got my chicken on. It was 10:40 when I got my chicken on. I normally put my chicken on 10:30 to 10:45 at a cook-off because it's normally due at 12. Moved my ribs over, they were wrapped. Brisket was on the other end, it was wrapped. I always cook my chicken directly over the coals anyway, so I had that little space there, as you'll see in the picture, and I put the chicken on there and just let it go. I didn't get to taste my chicken. We got it turned in on time, so I had no idea what it tasted like. Just kind of hoping I get a walk in the top 10 somewhere. Got the ribs done, got those turned in, and those tasted pretty good. A little different than what I normally run because I didn't have my normal stuff. But they were good. They weren't like, ooh, wow, this is a first place rib. In my book, I thought they were just good. But again, we had 24 really good teams there. Them guys in West Texas are some pretty tough competitors, man. They can cook barbecue. Got the brisket turned in. It was a good brisket. I didn't think it was a first place brisket or anything super wow or amazing, but it was good. It was good. It wasn't my normal brisket. Turned all 3 meats in. A little bit later, we head on out to the awards, and we're just kind of sitting there on the front row. I'm sitting with my friend I went to teach and to go over the class again with. And so we're just kind of sitting there, and I said, how'd your stuff turn out? He goes, I'm pretty happy with everything. I said, well, I was okay with my stuff. It wasn't, what I normally do, but they started calling chicken and came down to like 4th place, and I'm like, ooh, man, I don't know what that chicken tasted like. I'm probably not gonna get a chicken walk today. They called 3rd, wasn't me. Called 2nd, it wasn't me. I looked at Terry, I said, I know I'm not gonna get a chicken walk. And my buddy who had paid me to be there was sitting next to me. He didn't get a chicken call. So I'm like, oh boy, man. Then they called that first place ticket and I'm looking around to see who it is. They called it again. I look around, I don't see nobody, so I look at my ticket. Whoa, I got a first place chicken call. Talk about being excited and ecstatic. Wow, wasn't expecting that. I have no idea what it tasted like. Went down the ribs, 10, 9, 8, wound up with a 4th place rib. I was like, holy cow, man. I knew I had 2 pretty decent calls. I knew who else had calls. I wasn't keeping exact track of the points. I knew I was in the hunt if I got a brisket call. Again, it wasn't my normal brisket, but it was okay. I didn't know what to expect. My buddy that was with me got a first place rib call. It's all on the brisket now, man. They start calling brisket 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We got a 4th place brisket call. I'm like, holy cow, man. I think I might just be in the running here. It all depended on the next 2 brisket calls, or 3, I forget. It was 3rd or 4th I got. So then they called my buddy, 2nd place brisket. So he's in the hunt, boom. It was my good friend Aaron Leslie. He got a 1st place brisket call. So I thought he also got chicken and rib calls. I seriously thought that Aaron had won and that I was gonna be 3rd overall and that my friend was gonna be 2nd overall. So they started counting at the end, 10th place overall, 9th place overall. When it came down to 3rd, I was expecting to get that call, but they actually called my buddy. Apparently I beat him by 1 point and I didn't even know that. We were close, man. He was super pumped. I was super pumped because he almost won the cook-off. If he had gotten a chicken call, he would have won it. If he just had like a 7th place chicken, he would have won the event. Then I'm thinking, I'm reserve grand champion. I guess I got 2nd overall. I'm super happy. Was not expecting that at all. Well, then they wind up calling my good friend Aaron Leslie, reserve grand champion. I'm like, holy cow, about fall out of my chair. I didn't have any idea or expectation to win that cook-off when I started prepping the night before, or even when I started cooking the next day, or even when I turned in my trays. I was just trying to help them out, and I was just trying to get a couple of walks, so it looked like I knew what I was doing, at least, to some of the other people there. So we wound up winning grand champion. Talk about being lucky, talk about being blessed, talk about being happy, man. We celebrated that night, Terry and I did. Little long story to the chicken, I ran that recipe for a year after that, and it was always in the top 5, except maybe once or twice when I screwed it up, but it was a dang good recipe, man. It worked. We had a real good time up there in Levelland, Texas in September of 2017. 3 things. God is good, people are good, and big-hearted. And number 3, to answer the question we started out with, you can win a cook-off cooking on 1 Hasty-Bake. I don't recommend it. I always cooked on 2 when I was cooking exclusively for Hasty-Bake. It can be done. With that said, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, remember to hit the like button, remember to hit the subscribe button, remember to keep the smoke light, and make it work. Kapoo!